we start with team news first of all? We know that Daichi Kamada won't be available because it's suspended, but I guess Palace fans want to know how close Eberechi is to returning.
Well, let's start with all the others. It's a little bit easier. So, Willius will be back after his suspension. Chris Richards was already in the squad, so he is available. Jeff Lerma is back and available. Jack Ducouré is ready to start after 2 weeks of very good training. And Ebbs would like to be involved in tomorrow's game, but I took the decision not to take him with us to Villa. It's a little bit too risky, but he trained during the week, but it's too near when it happened, and when we see our schedule and we have to protect our players, when we see the schedule after the Villa game with 8 games in December, we can't take any risks, so that's why Ebbs is not involved in tomorrow's game.
But it sounds like he could be in the next one.
Oh yes, so I had a long chat with him today because he's very ambitious. He's a great guy. He worked really hard and he wanted to be with us. He feels he's ready. And then we had him who wants to play. Of course, I want him to play, but we have to, as I mentioned, we have to protect him, and therefore we said, okay, we lose one game, but we win 8 to 9 days, and maybe we win then 8, or we all hope to win at Emirates in the Carabao. Then we have 15 games in December and January, and we need him for 15 games and not just for 1.
Yeah. How was the international break for you? I know that a lot of people in jobs can benefit from being able to stop, take a step back, maybe view things differently.
No, it was. We also decided because of our schedule. The whole first week was off. Just the injured players or the rehab players, were coming back from injury, like Jackie. He trained here with our under-21s, had a friendly game with them. But all the others who had many games and will face many games, so they had off the first week. And also for the staff, it's important. So we decided several weeks ago to make 1 week off. So I'm used to have it around Christmas, but here in England it's different, and so I think it was important for everybody to recover. But the second week was really good. Yes, we were still a small group because of some injuries, and the international players. Daniel Munoz had just 2 days training with us after playing with 2 games with Colombia, but was good. Was a good week, good intensity, good content, we're going to Villa today, and we know we are missing some, especially attacking players. With Ebbs, with Eddie, Nketiah, with Franca, with Daichi Kamada. We know this, but we think we have good chances to take at least a point. And of course, we go there like always. The mindset is to get the win.
Yeah, and because this is your first experience in the Premier League with this busy festive schedule that comes up, you don't get that break that you might have experienced before. Do you use that break to sit down with someone like Steve Parish, talk about January plans and transfer window and all that kind of stuff? Because I guess you don't have time to sit down and do that, do you, over the next few months?
Oh, we did it before, not in the international break. So it was also important for me to get some days of resting and also think about what happened until now and what's the measures we take. But we were talking before, Dougie, Steve and me, and what's the plan for January, and we found an agreement, and now it's the one thing is to talk about it, and the second and that's the most important, is then to realize it. But I'm very positive, and let's see.
Yeah, confident you'll get some more in January, or players.
We go with 17 on-field players, and from these 17, there's 3 from our under-21. So I think it would not be a good idea to sell 3 and don't get somebody in. So yes, of course, it's to increase the numbers of players and also of quality players, definitely.
Yeah, just the last few from me. I'm not sure how many times in your career you've been compared to Zinedine Zidane, but you can do something this weekend that no one's done since 2018, and that's beat Unai Emery 3 matches in a row. Is there something about the styles that match up well for you?
Oh, wow. That's cool. So we compared with Zinedine. So I thought, you compare me when I was a player and he was a player.
Yeah, that's what I meant, yeah.
But there is nothing common with us. So I don't know. So it's I didn't know this. But yeah, I have a lot of appreciation for Unai Emery. He's in every club. Any club he managed, you can see how he wants to play. You can see what he wants to do. He was everywhere. He was successful, and it's the same with Aston Villa. And this on the other side, it's when you analyze the game, is the style of playing is always the same because it's how the manager wants to play, and so this is very positive, I think, for Unai Emery. On the other side, it makes it sometimes a little bit easier in preparing the game and creating a plan. But to be honest, when we create a plan, we always win the game. But on the other side, we were not that successful this season in winning any game. So it's the same. The one thing is the plan we have is analyzing. The second thing, the most important and decisive part is the transformation on the pitch. And I think if Aston Villa, they want to compete for the Champions League places in the league, and I don't know which position they are at the moment, but for them it's clear they plan with 3 points at home against Crystal Palace, and we plan with 3 points for Crystal Palace.
Last one from me. We're asking every Premier League manager about Pep Guardiola's new contract, and I guess it's good for the Premier League, but not so great for opponents.
I don't know. As you could see when Jürgen Klopp left and new manager came in, so it was not a big difference. So they're again playing for winning the Premier League, but before and also now. And yes, but Pep is maybe the best, maybe the most successful manager in the Premier League in the last decade, or almost decade. And but on the other side, we don't have to worry about Pep that he doesn't find a job. So if he wants, he can do everything in the world what he wants to do. And he decided to stay in the rainy Manchester, so it's a good decision for him.
Oliver, nice to see you. It's sunny here again as well,
yes,
as opposed to Manchester, which
better
is always
place,
nice. I know you've not got a fully fit squad yet, but it does feel like you're getting players back now. For you personally, is that a bit of a weight off the shoulders? Do you feel like you can almost breathe a little bit and actually focus on building this season now?
The best thing is that I always can breathe, because otherwise I wouldn't sit here. So of course we want all our players being available and being fit, but we also knew, but we didn't expect it in that way, that we have then we started without injuries, and all of a sudden we had it in a staccato, tuck, and yes, now we want them back. But on the other side, we have now the Villa game, then we have one full week, but then we have Newcastle, Ipswich and City, and we also know when players coming back. You asked me about Eberechi before. We know he can't play all 3 games for 90 minutes, and this will be the same with Jeff Lerma, will be the same with Jack de Cree, will be the same with Chris Richards, will be the same with Eddie Nketiah, whom we hope he will be available in this week. And this is, let's say, it's positive that they are back, they are available, but on the other side it's always challenging to manage the games, because when he's a starter, but he can play maximum 60 minutes, or he's on the bench, but he shouldn't be longer than 30. So that makes it, because you want to make subs to have an influence in the game, and not just to be aware of no more injuries. And this is the tricky situation, but this is how it is, and we try to deal best with it.
In terms of Aston Villa, coming off the back of 4 defeats in a row, as the opposing manager, is it almost sometimes more difficult going up against a side that are on a run like that? Because I guess for them and the position that they are in the Premier League, 5 defeats in a row would be unthinkable. So actually, does it put a bit of a spin on it, if you like? No, because it's always, we can say the opposite. They have won the 4 in a row. They are in the flow. They have so much confidence. Is it then easy to go to Villa Park and win there? I don't think so. But we don't think about. We have no influence on their mindset. But it's clear again,
whatever the games before, how the results were. When Aston Villa plays at home against Crystal Palace, the plan was 3 points. That's clear, and so this is the only thing what we know. They will play for winning the game. They will play in their style because they always play their style. And again, this is what I really admire. Is the right word? Admire with Unai Emery. It's fantastic job he's doing with his stuff. Set plays. I admire what they are doing. So creative. It's great. But yeah. So, but we had a good game to analyze. Our cup game there. Yeah, we know that maybe they had a lot of rotation, but the style of playing was the same. And I think also they have some doubts, some injured players, and this is now mid of or end of November. It's the same for any club, and so that's why I don't think that it changes the way Villa enters the game, and it doesn't change the way we enter the game.
I know we had a joke before about Zidane and the record against Unai Emery, but you mentioned it there, the game in the Carabao a couple of weeks ago now. How much do you look back on those matches when you prepare for something like this, or is this a completely different game?
No, we looked a lot at it, again, because what they're doing is always the same, the style, with their going from a back four, then in a build-up to a back three, pushing the left full back high. It was Madsen against us. We expect Digne tomorrow. Playing with the left winger more in the pocket. It was Philogene again in the Carabao. It will be, we expect McGinn tomorrow. And always playing, trying to find the players in the pocket, having a lot of runs in behind. Yeah, with Ollie Watkins, we expect tomorrow. It was John Duran, also not a really bad player, and so that's how they always play. And this is, we prepared our players as good as possible. And then if we play in a compact shape, they always attack in a 4-4-2. It's also the same. And when you play with a high five, one of the wingers has to drop. So this is how they played against Bruges. This is how they played against Tottenham. This is how they played against us. Yeah, the numbers of the players are different, but their patterns are the same. So again, in the preparation, you get a lot of things you already know, but then I would call up all of you, show you, and say we win at Villa Park. It's not possible because therefore we need the quality of our players. We need the belief of our players. We need the confidence of our players, and I'm sure we will get our situations there. And then it's about efficiency. We didn't have the best game against Fulham, but we had enough opportunities to get at least a draw, but we didn't take them in this game, and so that's why we lost with mistakes. And this is how at the end football is working.
Just a couple more from me. You mentioned it before as well. Czech Decore and Will Hughes back available to start. How important, how imperative will it be to have those two in the central midfield? And
Jeff Lerma, yeah, that's very good for us, of course, and we hope that Adam comes back, maybe not for the Newcastle game, but in the following 1 or 2 weeks. So because we need them, yeah, we need the quality. That's what I said. We need the quality of those players, the passing, but also it's the same with Czeki. I think if he starts, it would be the second start within 1 year. So I don't expect miracles from him. Yeah, but it's good to see him back on the pitch, getting more confidence into with his body. That he's a fantastic football player. We could see from the first day. But when you are I think he injured at the beginning of November last year. He trained, I don't know, for 6 to 8 weeks in 12 months. So that's getting back into his best shape. This is what we will support him. But it's good to have him back. It's good that Will also with his, Will is. How I say it, I don't want to say an old player, but with he's talking a lot. He's the young senior player. The young generations, they are often very introverted, and he's one on the pitch, talking to the others, organizing things, pushing the players, and this helps us, of course.
Just finally, I believe you gave a talk recently at a business school, and there was one quote that stood out that I thought was really, really interesting. You said, creativity needs space, and when you want to find ideas, you need space for it. I wondered if you could just elaborate a little bit on that quote, and maybe what you do personally to give yourself a little bit of space when times are busy, perhaps.
Off. That's why we gave off. Yeah, that's it. Also for all of us, also for the staff. Yeah. I said to the doctor, we had some players. I said, come on, you need it because he's here. It looks like 24 hours and 7 days a week. So when we have off, he's with the injured players, and everybody needs this. Yeah? You need time to think about it. You need influence, and not just because. But if you always have just this corridor you are looking at, how can you have creativity? Because this is your truth. This corridor is your truth, but you don't see what's right or next from you. Or even you don't see what's behind you. Sometimes you have to turn around, look at it, think about it, or don't think about it. Yeah, so I say it. We're talking. You can't tell a musician, okay, tomorrow from 7 to 9 you write a song. No, but maybe he wakes up at 3 in the morning. That's it. He sits and he writes it from 3 to 5, and this is the same with an author. And this is we are the players. When we see them playing, sometimes they are like artists. It's unbelievable what they are doing, and the finishing and some movements, and this is not what you say. Okay, you make 2 twists and then a salto backwards, and you score a goal. Yeah? Sometimes when I see the goal against Tottenham, how Epps prepares with his heel behind the back after the cross, this is creativity, and this is you. We can't tell him to do this. Yeah, he decides in the moment, and it was a great decision, and the execution was unbelievable. And then JP gets the ball in an area where I think 9 of 10 times he scores a goal, and this is what I mean. Yeah, so when it's always structure, you lose your creativity, and I think this is something in development, and I think it's important in school with the children. It's important in sports with children. That when you always tell them what they have to do, they lose their creativity, and yes, it is to find the right balance, because you need some borders, but within these borders you should move free, and this is what I meant.
Really interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Oliver. The team's form this season has been almost a mirror image of that wonderful run that you finished last season. It's been a complete reversal. I mean, what has changed here? Is it as straightforward as players missing, or is it more than that? Is it that perhaps your instructions aren't being carried out now in quite the way you'd like, or have your instructions changed from last season and they're not quite getting across? Because it's been such a dramatic change in quite a short space of time.
Yes, regarding the results, I agree. On the other side, we had yesterday we were sitting several hours and getting all the data from our first 11 games, and so one is if we would have, or if we would perform in the same way we did the last 7 games, we would win the Premier League. Yeah? And so I think nobody expected that we will win the Premier League this season. But the interesting thing is that many of our possession data are very similar to it's not just the last 6 or 7 games, the last 13 games when we arrived. So we have, what is clear when we see we are dramatically underperforming in the XG to scoring goals. We have better pressing numbers. We have in goals conceding, we are not just the last 7 games or the last 13 or even the last season, we concede less than we conceded in average over the whole last season. But we have less points, and that's the fact. And that means, okay, we can't ignore this, but at the end it's we are not. we're really thinking a lot and analyzing and try to find to find the right or to turn the right wheels. Yeah, but it's not that we want and will change everything. So we were competitive in any single game. We know that, and then sometimes football is like this. Yeah, we had in the 45th minute, Joachim Andersen makes a clearance on the line, and 1 minute later we make a terrible mistake and we're 1-0 down at halftime. And also when we know if you have a lead in the Premier League, I think more than 60% you don't more than 60% of this you don't lose the game. So many situations we don't take for us at the moment when we have them. And I could explain many more. At the Wolves, after the 1-0, the crowd was booing with 2 unbelievable chances for deciding the game. With the second goal, we didn't, conceding a goal. And then the game changes. Yeah? And so we have to get more consistent in reducing our mistakes in the defense. Yes. We have to get more efficient in our attacking. And then we will... then this is all about, then we will get more confidence back, and then I think the game will be more fluid, if this is the right word, yeah, because this is what at the moment it looks like, and also but we're always changing every game. We're changing our starting lineup. We have to change the starting lineup, and then there's new players here, new players there, and this is that's a little bit the issue we have at the moment.